In 2018, the luxury clothing brand Burberry was caught burning excess inventory in order to control retail prices. Now, they did this at a scale of $38 million worth of retail inventory overstock. But if you think about it, right, it's just fabric, and the cost that they have into those rolls of fabric is like nothing. So why worry about burning a bunch of your inventory overstock? Here's the thing. As soon as any luxury brand puts anything on sale, it devalues the brand. And that devaluing is simply not an option for these luxury brands. They need to keep inventory levels low so that there's demand and so they can keep prices as high as possible. And that's only just one example of how luxury brands seduce us and keep us all interested in buying more. And personally, I believe that a lot of luxury brands, specifically with clothing, are way overpriced and not even close to being worth the money that people are paying for it. Because this Gucci polo at $1,280 is not $1,200 better than this $24 polo from the Gap. Now, let the record show that I'm generally not an advocate of suggesting that people need to go spend a lot of money on expensive brands. In fact, I generally suggest more affordable options in my videos. But in today's video, I want to talk about a few things that I believe are worth paying a little bit more for. And now, of course, right, people are generally willing to pay more for the things that they value the most, right? For example, if you like experiences over possessions, chances are that you'll spend a lot more money on vacations than most people would. You'll make sure you get the nice hotel suite with that killer view of the water, you'll book your spa treatments, and you'll have amazing meals. But if you value your possessions over those experiences, you'll have a nice house, you'll have a really nice car, nice jewelry. But when you do take vacations, if ever, you'll stay at a regular hotel and not worry about all the fancy stuff like views, nice dinners, and spa treatments. Okay, because I mentioned vacations, the first luxury item that is worth paying a little bit more for is your travel luggage. And I know that a lot of you guys watching my videos travel a lot, and you guys already know this, but nobody wants to be that guy with the busted open suitcase or the busted open duffel bag or backpack rolling down the luggage carousel. And look, I've mentioned Esri before in other videos, and they're sponsoring today's video, but quite honestly, they make some of the nicest bags and backpacks I think I've ever seen. So these are made of high-end materials, making their bags ultra lightweight, but also allowing it to maintain its shape and stand up all on its own when it's empty. This is the executive model, and this one, along with all their other models, makes traveling super convenient with over 12 one-of-a-kind functionalities and pockets, including internal wiring for easy charging, side access laptop compartments, strap pockets, and a ton more. They're also incredibly water resistant against rain or any type of spills. They also added this really cool padded trolley slip on the back so it can attach to your rolling carry-on. And I think what I appreciate the most is that all of these bags were designed from the start to hide all the pockets, so it has a more professional look. And I think that makes it a lot more appropriate for a professional work environment. So listen, there's gonna be a special link with a discount code down below in the description that's gonna get you 30% off. So if you wanna go check out this executive model or all the other models that they have, just hit that first link down in the description and also get free shipping within the US. The link and the discount code are down below. Okay, so the next thing that's worth paying a little bit extra for are your clothes. For example, let me start with jeans. So I've bought inexpensive jeans and I've also bought expensive jeans. And practically every time I get the really cheap pair, there's problems, right? Like inconsistent seams and belt loops that just pop off and pockets that weren't sewn on straight and just general quality problems. But when I spend a little bit more for a nicer pair, I don't have any of those issues. Okay, so let's say that inexpensive jeans around the $50 to $60 category would be from Gap and American Eagle. From there up to about $80 to $100, you have stores like Express and Banana Republic. And I might say that's probably a really good sweet spot, but once you get over, say, $150 to $300, that brings in brands like Todd Snyder, John Varvatos, and Page. So I have 2 pairs of Page brand jeans, and they are some of the most comfortable jeans that I own. Yes, they were expensive, and yes, I also had to have them hemmed at my local tailor, but I'm happy to do that, right? Because the quality of the jeans is there, and now they fit me perfectly. Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room here, because a lot of you guys know that I'm a car guy. And hopefully I won't get too much heat for this one, because this is all just my opinion, but I would say, at least for me, and I'm sure a lot of you watching also, that luxury cars are worth spending a little bit more for. And I know that not everyone's gonna agree with me on this one, but at least for me, right? I mean, I've been around cars from an early age. My dad had several nice collector cars, and I raced cars for almost 10 years, so I've got a fair understanding of all things automotive. Luxury cars and high-end sports cars are just made better. They're assembled better. The materials are higher quality. The electronics are typically gonna be better. Safety features like your brakes, lane assist, and night vision or adaptive headlights, that's all just gonna be better. The engine, of course, is gonna have a lot more power, and the transmission and differentials are gonna be a lot stronger to handle that power. I mean, look, I can justify the price of nice cars all day long because number one, that's just kind of what I'm into. And number two, I have owned an awful lot of cars in my life, and 99 times out of 100, you just get what you pay for. Okay, so we're staying in the garage for just one more minute because most of course, my audience are men. The next item that's worth paying a little bit more for are your tools. Stay with me on this one because a lot of you guys know that, of course, I used to build and race cars, like I just mentioned, and I've got a pretty decent toolbox. I've spent money on expensive tools, and I've spent money on cheap tools. Expensive wins every single time. Even if I want to save like $10 on a silly tape measure and buy the cheap one, that thing will break every single time without fail. Spend the extra 10 bucks and get the good one. All right, let me switch gears up completely for a second and say that cosmetic surgery is a luxury item that is worth paying for. And for the record, I haven't had any cosmetic surgeries. I think I tried Botox probably 6 years ago. But what I have done is I got braces in my mid-40s and got veneers on my 4 front upper teeth. My teeth were a complete mess my whole life, and it wasn't until I was about in my mid-40s that I finally had an opportunity to do something about it. And I mean, look, people get Botox and facelifts and stomach bypass surgery and liposuction and eye treatments, and personally, I really don't have a problem with any of that stuff, provided that you don't get addicted to it and it doesn't get too out of control. All right, next, let's talk about fragrances. So the more I learn about and discover different fragrances that are out there, the more I can kind of understand and appreciate the higher end brands. Now, sometimes things get a little crazy with pricing, but I would say that anything from about, say, $150 to maybe $400 is where a lot of the good stuff is. But if you're spending that much money though, I probably wouldn't just buy it without smelling it first. But the good news is you can search Amazon for little small samples, and you can also check out the brand's website to buy little samples, just to make sure that it's something that you actually want to commit to. Now look, we can't have this conversation on a style channel without mentioning shoes. Quality shoes are worth every penny, especially as we get older, right? Because let's face it, shoes are strapped to your feet all day long, and if they're uncomfortable, or they hurt, or they're not supportive, you're gonna have a pretty bad day. So I made the mistake recently of buying this really inexpensive pair of these golf shoes that I found on Amazon, and when I wore them, the right one blistered the back of my heel like after 5 holes of walking. So I'll never do that again. But I would say that maybe the sweet spot for casual leather sneakers starts at around $100 and goes up to around $300. With dress shoes, I'd say something between $250 and $500. Now, of course, you can find shoes for a lot cheaper, and that's fine. But if they don't last, or if they cause blisters, then that was a waste of money. All right, now coming in next are watches. I really haven't been much of a watch guy until maybe like the last 5 years or so, and I could never get myself to spend more than, say, $300 for a watch. One reason is because I just couldn't afford to do that. But the other reason is I just didn't really understand everything else that sort of comes along with owning a nice watch. And look, I've currently got everything from a $20 Timex to a $200 Orient and a $300 Seiko. But for my birthday, this last April, I feel like I finally got myself my first really nice watch. A lot of you guys have already seen it in some of my videos and commented on it, but I picked up this Omega Seamaster. I mean, look, I'm 54 years old, and this is my first expensive watch, and I love it. It makes me feel good, and I get a lot of compliments when I wear it out. It's also something that I've had my eyes on for the last couple years, and I was finally able to scrape some money together and pull the trigger on it. And at least for me, every time I wear it and look down at it, it reminds me of how far I've come. Everything I have and everything that I've accomplished in these last few years is because I put in the work. Nobody handed anything to me, and nobody made any of this easy. And quite frankly, none of this is easy. But I still believe that anything in life worth having is worth busting your ass for. And I also believe that you get what you pay for. And sometimes it's just worth paying a little bit more to get the nicer version of whatever the thing is. And just one more thing, please leave me a comment and let me know something that you believe is worth paying just a little bit more for. And hey, if you haven't seen this video where I run down my top 10 spring and summertime fragrances for men, you gotta just click here and check it out. Please subscribe if you're not already. And as always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Live well, and I will see you in the next one.